Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. I am Simply G, and today I'm going to be talking about my first impressions of Ryuko by Eldo Yoshimizu. This is a 2-volume series put out by Titan Comics for their Hard Case Crime series. So that is a line of comics that have to do with, obviously, hard case crime, and this is the first manga that they've released on this line. If you're not familiar with Titan Comics, I wouldn't be surprised. They don't really put out a lot of manga. The only ones that you may be familiar with that they've put out prior to this is the Sherlock manga, as well as Assassin's Creed manga. And this is the story of Ryuko, who is the heir or head of a yakuza family. And years before, she actually killed her father in belief that he had betrayed her and her expectations. And you can see from this book and from me opening it, there's a lot of very beautiful, sexy women and a lot of very dark, heavy, scratchy inks, a lot of action as well. But Ryuko finds out that her father was actually trying to protect her mother, who was taken from the family when she was still a child. She was always told that her mother had been killed or had died, but now she realizes that her mother has not, and she's in search for her mother, trying to rescue her and sort of repent for the death of her father and trying to get revenge on the individuals responsible for the whole situation. So this, because it is a 2-volume series, there is not, there's quite a lot that happens in this first volume, but it's not setting up for this hugely overarching plot. And Yoshimizu is maybe more familiar to people as just a artist, a sculptor. He has a lot of different various creative projects he's done in the past, and Ryuko has been a figure in his art for a very long time, but this is the first time that she's been brought into a actual storyline through this manga. As for my first impressions, I did enjoy it. This is one that I think is very low on a lot of people's radar, mainly because it isn't from a more traditional manga publisher. And as I said, this isn't really a artist who is very well known for a lot of manga or things like that. So it's a little bit different from this normal type of series. And this is definitely a series more so for people who do like very bombastic action and sexy girls, and more so that sort of spectacle rather than needing a very huge and invested plot. So don't go into this series expecting that. Seeing as it is only 2 volumes, I don't feel bad about investing my time into it, but it's not like one that I can really recommend to a lot of people. If you saw the artwork, it is very beautiful. Yoshimizu is definitely a very talented artist. Ryuko is a very alluring character. A lot of the other female characters are really interesting in how they interact and definitely have various motivations, but I wouldn't say this is a series for everyone. The second volume does come out later this year, so perhaps my actual opinion will change. I did like particular later chapters in this book, so I do hope that we see more of that as Ryuko is working towards finding her mother and rescuing her mother and the other people she's interacted with through her life as a yakuza. But yeah, it's a curious one, and one that I think has definitely gone unnoticed by most people. And yeah, so I was wanting to put this out there. It's not really my favorite series, and I will have to consider on whether I will be picking up the rest of it. As I said, it is only 2 volumes, so it might be one that I I do eventually finish, but it's not really a high priority or pre-order for me personally. But yeah, the artwork is very beautiful, if quite dark and action oriented, and it reminds me a lot in so far as action as probably like a Black Lagoon or a Trigun, that has somewhat confusing or muddled action. It's not entirely clear it how it should be followed, but I think that's also because Yoshimizu isn't really a seasoned mangaka. So there's various elements to this that are very unlike a lot of the more standard series that you see licensed usually, standard action series that you see licensed usually. But if you're just one to enjoy like a badass babe, trying to get revenge and this darker storyline of the yakuza and revenge, check it out. But I wouldn't say it's a must read.